It's been around 2 months since we last posted a video talking about the EZVIZ home security system thing. So in this video, we are doing kind of an overarching review. So we're gonna talk about the cameras individually first, and then we are going to talk about the home sensor kit second, and then the last part will be everything together. Within the 2 months, a lot of things has changed. So firstly, we set up the second C6CN that we have over there, and then the first one is over there. Both of them are on the ceiling right now, so we just drilled through the plaster wall, used the included mounting kit and mounted it there. The sensor kit is mounted there on the door, whereas the PIR sensor is in another room. We'll get more into that later. So firstly, let's talk about the individual cameras first, on its own. And I have to say the cameras work as intended. It does give me a clear video feed up to 1080p in resolution, and it also has the feature where we can have two-way conversation. So it's not in sync with the audio. I mean, the video and audio is not in sync, but it works. It actually works pretty well in comparison with other kind of IP camera system that we've tried. And we've also used that two-way audio feature quite a few times ourselves actually. And then comes the alarm feature. There is a settings in the app itself where we can select it to detect certain parts of that scene, where if the pixels shift, then it will detect it as motion and then trigger the alarm, and you get a notification on your phone as well. So this feature, I would say it's okay at first. We can also select the sensitivity, which is something that I eventually had to do it because the way that we initially set it up was kind of finicky. And then one funny thing here is that once we arm the alarm, when you manually pan the cameras using the app with the alarm armed, it doesn't disarm by itself when you manually pan the camera. So I don't know how to explain this, but just imagine this. If I already arm the alarm and then I go into the camera and control the motion of that camera, it will be detected as motion and then the alarm will start blaring. That's, I would say, a huge oversight from EZVIZ part in terms of software, and I really wish them to address this issue. And then I want to talk about the night vision feature of the EZVIZ C6CN. So what we tested is that during late at night, we pointed the camera towards the front door here with a light turned on, because that's the hallway, a common hallway by the way. And what happened is that when the camera is pointed at that door with that light turned on, the night vision does not turn on. So we have to turn the camera into the darkness to enable the night vision manually with air quotations. And then after the night vision has turned on, we pointed the camera back to the bright hallway, but the night vision does not turn off by itself. So I'm not sure what's happening here. Maybe the brightness threshold to turn on and off is different. So I would advise EZVIZ to enable the option for us users to manually tune the threshold, or for us to manually turn on and off night vision by ourselves. Okay, that's enough about the camera. So now let's talk about the sensors. So as you have seen previously in our previous video where we talk about the home sensor kit, it comes in 4 different pieces. The open-close detector, which I will just call it the gyro sensor because that makes more sense. And then the PIR sensor, which is a proximity sensor kind of thing going on there. And then the hub and also the remote control. So let's just talk about the open and close detector first, because this is the one sensor that I'm most interested in, but it is also the most disappointing one ever, because there are a lot of false alarms going through this sensor. I don't know what's going on. When we arm the alarm and then we went home, it sits there pretty well, but suddenly late at night it just keeps on triggering. Like, I don't know what's happening, it just keeps triggering, and then our phones are flooded with notifications, and when we look at the alarm, nothing is happening. Not too sure why, and this happened a few times within the 2 months. So we had to manually go into the app, disable the open-close detector so that it won't give us false alarms constantly, and then come back into the office the next day and recalibrate it. Not too sure what's happening, but Once again, I do wish that EZVIZ provide us the option to manually tune the sensitivity of that open-close detector. I think that would fix a lot of the false alarms. And then secondly is the PIR sensor, also known as the proximity sensor situation thing going on there. I would just say that that sensor is very unreliable. It's inconsistent. Sometimes it detects, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it detects instantly, and sometimes it detects with like a 5 seconds delay. Not too sure what's going on, and I really don't know how to optimize or make it detect more reliably because there's just no settings available on the app. And then comes the remote control that comes with the entire kit. This thing, in our initial use case, it controls only the sensor hub itself, so all of the gyro sensor and also that proximity sensor is controlled by this remote control. But eventually we ditched this thing entirely because once we link both the cameras and the home sensor kit together, this thing becomes kind of weirdly positioned in our use case because since it only controls the sensor kit itself, you cannot arm the camera's alarm using this remote control. So we eventually just ditched this idea entirely and purely use the app itself to control the alarms around this office. And speaking of the app itself, I'm not going to talk about how messy the interface is, but I just want to focus on one thing, which is the inability for us to share the camera's control with other people, more like the camera's alarm control, because we can share the live feed of the camera with another person, but we cannot share the ability for the other person to arm or disarm the alarm. So only me, the admin account, can manually adjust the camera's alarm, which I think is just another oversight in EZVIZ's part, because what I think here is that I should be able to share my alarm access with another person. So let me put this into another perspective. Imagine if I'm the person at home who set up the alarm, so I'm the admin by default. If I'm traveling somewhere or sleeping at my friend's house, let's just say that's gonna happen in this situation, no one else at home can control the alarm, which I think is a big issue. So to address this issue, what we did is by doing the most obnoxious thing ever, which is to share that single admin account with another person. I gave them my login ID and password, which is a huge security issue, but I think this is the only way that we can get through this obstacle right now. So all in all, after using the whole EZVIZ ecosystem of alarm system for 2 months, what we think here is pretty simple. The hardware is actually very solid. It's just the software part, especially some of the weird quirks and oversights that EZVIZ has, I think those can be fixed via software, especially the sensitivity of the gyro sensor there, and also the PIR sensor. I think if they can allow us to control how far the detection range should be and how sensitive it should be, that would obviously fix a lot of issues. So far, I think hardware is good, it's just that the software is really the main bottleneck here. And that's quite an easy fix for EZVIZ to push out some updates and optimize it so we can actually use it to its full potential. So I think that's it. That's all we have to say about the whole EZVIZ ecosystem. And if you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. And if you want to check out both the camera and the home sensor kit individually, you can check it out at both the videos here. And we'll see you next time.